Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel for another live stream, the third weekly one in a row for this year, again on the theme of Doctor Who promo pics and nostalgia and stuff, so just basically briefly to bring anyone up to speed who hasn't been watching these, let's pull up the web browsing layout. There we go. I will just very briefly show you what we've been up to in previous weeks. Yes, we've been doing these streams. This green one here with the 9th and 10th Doctors on, and the Slitheen, and then this one with the 10th Doctor and Rose and the Absorbloff. And we've basically been looking back at Doctor Who promo pics from back in the day, essentially. So the earliest seasons of the revival. Or we've been using this site here, DVD Bash, who have lots of the promo pics. We have also been looking at the Black Archive very briefly. We'll be doing more of that tonight, actually, because we do indeed have among us the guy that runs the Black Archive, Whoniverse Archive. I can see you in the chat. Hello, great to have you here. Yeah, so we'll definitely be looking at that site in more detail, because there are some gems on there. There are some gems, yeah, beyond the sort of standard episode stills and stuff, which, you know, you've seen before. There are things that are a bit more special than that. So yeah, that's the idea with this, essentially. And tonight we're going to be looking, sort of focusing mainly on Series 3, because we've done Series 1 and 2 already. Yeah, so it's a chill stream, basically. And it's also a chance for me to sort of copy these photos across onto my external hard drive and make a copy for myself, an archive of all these images, because I've got quite a few of the more recent pictures, saved in folders and stuff. But for a lot of the older ones, which aren't as easy to find necessarily, I don't. So yeah, so today we're going to be going through pretty much every episode of Series 3, basically. Possibly some other bits and pieces as well, like spin-offs and stuff. We probably will also go back to things like Series 1 and 2 on the Black Archive and look at some like rare gems and stuff that we didn't get around to in the previous weeks. But yeah, that's basically the plan. I will just try and find a chat and pull it up as well, so I have it to hand. But yeah, if you're watching this, please do make yourself known in the chat. Please do say hello. Please do leave a like as well. That'd be grand. And yeah, we have got with us Gallifreyan Rebel. Hello, Earl Squeak. Hi, Sam Fowler. Hello, Jared Jams. Jared Jams apparently met David Tennant and Frigg Aggerman once. Wow, fantastic. I'd love to hear more about that in the chat, and under what circumstances you met them, and what it was like. Yeah, fantastic. Vortex Edits as well. Our Shay, yeah, hi. Hi, great to have you here, Shay. Whoniverse Archive, hello, Sam. Oliver, Blocks of Flux, great. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing with this. And yeah, do let me know in the chat as well what sort of Doctor Who stuff you've been getting up to recently, which episodes you've been watching this week, or if you've bought any merchandise, if you've created anything. Just spread the love in the chat, and I will try and keep on top of it. It'd also be great to get our first super chat ever on the channel. It's never happened before. It probably won't happen today, but hey, if anyone wants to do that'd be fantastic. And Patreon is also there, of course, as well. I should probably just give a quick shout out before we get going to my Patreon backers, who I give a shout out in every video. So thank you to Hugh Burke, TARDIS Ollie, Will Be Fat, Robert Shippey, Lauren Coates, and Charles Leggett. Thank you to you six, my Patreon backers so far. It'd be great to have more Patreon backers. But yeah, there we go. So we're going to be going through promo pics. I'll be talking in the background as well about the episodes we're looking at, and just general Doctor Who stuff as well. Do leave questions in the chats if you want me to answer anything. I can see a few already. I think where I'd like to begin with this one, because we are now on to Series 3. We're on Series 3. We are now approaching the point with this where... hang on, where's my window gone? Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're approaching the point where these are the episodes that are not Series 3. I mean, Series 4 was my first series, but we're approaching the point now where the episodes are episodes that I have memories of or memories of looking at the photos of. And if I just switch the view again back to the webcam only, there we go. Move across a bit. This Doctor Who sticker album is basically what I wanted to show off and just to sort of use as a little way into tonight's stream, because a lot of the photos from Series 3, sort of from I think the first episode they covered in this particular book was evolution of the Daleks. You can see that there. Oops, I can't quite see. There we go. I think that's in frame. There we go. A lot of the photos we're going to be looking at today are photos that were in this sticker book, and which I personally first saw for the first time in this book. Try and get a good view where we can see everything properly. There we go. I want to do a video about this really on my channel at some point, actually, because it was a big part of my early time as a fan getting into the show and stuff. And like I say, a lot of these images, like of Dalek Sec Hybrid, there we go, of Dalek Sec Hybrid, and just of David Tennant and of the various characters, various stills from these episodes are images which I saw a lot in my early time as a fan. Opening these packets and getting duplicates of them and stuff. This is a really awkward setup, isn't it? I can't quite do it properly, but yeah, maybe I'll do a video sort of showing this off in its sort of proper glory at some point. But yeah, basically we are going to be looking at things like the stuff from Blink here. We are going to be looking at all these images tonight, if we can find them, of course, on the various websites that I've listed. So yeah, that is the long-winded introduction. Let's get on with some actual promo pics. Let's get on with some stuff. I've got the chat open. Yeah, Greg can see that. We've got 20 people watching apparently, which is fantastic. Great stuff. So, I think for this, because let's stick with the Black Archive for the time being, because obviously because we have the Black Archive Supremo, the person who runs the site, among us in the chat and watching the stream, so I feel I need to do that. Or maybe cross-reference with other sites as well, but let's look at the sort of general Series 3 stuff first. We'll just switch the view back. There we go. I think, in fact, as well on this page, they have more general stuff as well. All this sort of stuff. So, of course, we have these shots of the Doctor and Martha in the TARDIS. Fantastic stuff. Loads of different variations of these. So I'm in a really awkward position, aren't I? Let's move back. There we go. That one, of course, from the trailer as well. Infamous, with the Doctor and Martha, where they joined the faces together. The Vote Saxon poster there. That's a really great find. That's amazing. Done a couple of other variations. That's one that I hadn't seen before. That portrait one. And then we got this one over here as well. So there's a few different variations there. And if we just look on this DVD bash site as well, let's just bring these up in full view. Oh, hang on, we can't quite get them in. Let me zoom out of it. There we go. All of these. these are very iconic. Maybe these shots. I seem to remember there was. It's not a book that I ever had, but I seem to remember seeing like a. I think it was one of those little Top Trumps books they did where they had. Like I don't know, what was it, like a book made up of the cards or something? Let's have a look online. Let's find it. What Doctor Who Top Trumps book? Oh no, it was that photo on the Top Trumps book. I think what I'm thinking of is the PlayStation game, actually. Yeah, that is where I've seen that image before. Again, it's not something I had. Oh, of course, the Top Trumps game. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it was a Top Trumps game. That makes sense. Yeah, basically, those were images that were on a lot of merch back in the day, with David crouching down and Freema as well. Oops. That was not the plan. Nope. Apologies, I lost it there. But let's talk about some stuff while I'm doing this. So Sam Fowler asks me about Battles in Time. Battles in Time. What are my top 3 Battles in Time sets? Okay. So for me, Battles in Time, of course, the Doctor Who trading card game from the noughties, mid-noughties. I have a funny relationship with that. I sort of got into it at the back end, like as it was ending, which wasn't the best place to get into it, really. These are fantastic, by the way, are these shots with the fireball behind them. Really striking. Yeah, I kind of got into Battles in Time with, I think it was 2008, obviously, around the time that like the final 2 sets were coming out. So I got like the odd packet from them, and I think I got the odd packet from like the earlier sets as well, like Invader and Annihilator and Exterminator was the other one. That was it. But yeah, it's only in more recent years that I've sort of gone back to appreciate those sets a bit more. So I guess basically what I would have to say for that question is probably like the last 2 sets. I mean, I do have vivid memories of the very last set, Devastator, which is impossible to get hold of these days, at least in packets. Absolutely impossible to get hold of. Like a sealed box or a packet or whatever. But they were amazing. Like with Davros on the front and whatever else. Was there a nude or was that the other ones? But yeah, they were really, really great. And with all the Series 4 characters as well. Of course, these are images here from, I think, when they announced Freema or when they started filming or whatever. But yeah, with Battles in Time there, yeah, the great thing about Devastator for me, was that, obviously Series 4 was my first series, and that set had characters in from Series 4. I believe it was released like in September 2008. So it was really great to pick up and to be able to pick up packets of cards with characters in I'd seen on the telly, basically. Like Davros and all the little side characters as well. They used to do cards for like Donna's kids from Forest of the Dead. They had a card each, like what they called, Ellie and whatever the other guy was called, or like the butler in Unicorn and the Wasp. He had a card. All these mad characters, they all had cards. I feel we need to just have a look at these quickly as well, because I have been talking about them. Yeah, Devastator, this was it. This sort of pinky reddy box. Very, very iconic. Very iconic. Yeah, what I wouldn't give to see a box of them again. Just sadly, like I say, they are literally impossible to get hold of. Like here, yeah. You can't buy them. You can't buy them. But there are all these fantastic cards, you know, like Donna and your duplicate Doctor, like your flashy Davros card, shiny Stallholder from Fires of Pompeii, the Ood, Supreme Dalek. It was mad. Yeah, so I think that would have to be my number one. I mean, I would love to get hold of the big booster card pack thing, the big like thing that came out when they first released it, because that is just beautiful. But again, you can't really find them sort of cheaply these days, if at all. I mean, massive diversion, but let's go to eBay and like if you type it, Battles in Time Devastator, there might be like one sealed pack for 15 quid or something like that. It's mad. Absolutely mad. You know, like that. 6 booster packs for 120 quid. You could pay £11 for 12 months to get these 6 factory sealed packs. Absolutely madness. Look, that was the thing I was talking about. The big, lovely booster pack, sort of big launch thing for that set. 85 quid. Yeah, it's depressing. The booster pack there for 40 quid. That'll be interesting actually to see how much this goes for. This is a sealed box of 31 packs, it says. Do they mean 32? It's usually 32. 28 quid currently, reserve not met. So they're clearly expecting a big buck for that box. I mean, yeah, to be fair, they don't come up very often. This is an interesting listing as well that I've seen before, like concept printer sheets they're called, I think. Like, basically like prototypes of the cards when they sort of printed them not on like the paper that they were going to ultimately print them on and like cut out and stuff and with all the text, but just like as little prototype things. They're quite cool actually, those. And then yeah, you're basically just on to loose cards after that. Yeah. So basically that is what I would say, yeah. I mean, that is the set that I have the fondest memories of myself. We've got some more people who've joined. Malville Jan Slitheen, hello. Timothy Like Head, hello. Sam Anson, hi. You've not missed much, basically. I've only just noticed the socks he's wearing. What has that to do with David Tennant? What socks was he wearing? Oh, like red socks, you mean? Interesting. I hadn't noticed that myself, to be honest. Googleplex Flex, hi, great to have you here. Yeah, Blocks of Flux is talking about how fireballs appear generally in quite a lot of the promotion for the first RTD era, which is interesting. And Jared says, alright, Jared's got a video of him asking David a question on his channel. I'll have to take a look at that afterwards. Thank you for that. So, yeah. That was a massive tangent about Battles in Time. I mean, please keep the nostalgia coming in the chat. Let's take a trip back over to the Black Archive, and we'll do the Smith and Jones images next. Smith and Jones onto Series 3 itself. Oh, I see. Yeah, those are the images we've just seen elsewhere, aren't they? Yeah. I see. That's one we haven't seen before, actually. Not just now, I mean. Lovely artwork there for Smith and Jones. Now, the interesting thing, actually, I've been flicking back briefly through all these promo pics before I did the stream. And the interesting thing about Smith and Jones is that if we go back to the episode stills section, you might notice something if you look at these, something a bit peculiar, in the sense that there are no Jadoon in any of these pics, like, apart from the last one there, which is, I think that's a screen cap anyway. But yeah, it's mad, isn't it, that there aren't any like officially released pictures of the Jadoon apart from the sort of, like not white background ones, but you know what I mean, like that art we just saw over here, that one. Like, the sort of big posed photos. There aren't any like stills of them, which is a bit weird. But yeah, let's rocket through these. Smith and Jones. I mean, as an episode, Smith and Jones, I actually think it's really good value, to be honest. I think it's good fun. It rattles along. It's quite sort of got a whiplash pace to it, I guess. Well, there are quiet moments in it. But in terms of the plot, like when you think of the plot of this one, it is quite simple. I quite like the twist at the end of how the Doctor sort of convinces the Jadoon, doesn't he? Like, what he manages? He convinces this lady, doesn't he? The Plasmavore, convinces her to suck his blood. That's right, without her realising that he's an alien, and then that gives her away to the Jadoon. That's a nice little twist at the end there. Nice having like two antagonists as well, having the Plasmavore. Is she called Florence, I believe? I'm having a massive brain fart about that. I think she's called Florence, isn't she? Yeah, there's some great images of her. Played by Anne Reid, of course. Who also, fun fact, was in The Curse of Fenric. I believe it's like that woman who the the young women are staying with, the two like sisters or whatever, or two friends. And she's like, oh, you must not go down to the beach. But yeah, there's some great images of Tennant, of course, and Freema in this one. Just weird that there aren't any Jadoon to be seen in these particular images, the episode stills. But yeah, going back to thoughts on this one as an episode. Yeah, like when you break down the plot, like it's quite a nice little premise of having, this hospital that is whisked off Earth to the moon so that the alien police can like find this fugitive, basically, who has come to Earth and hidden away in this hospital. And there are, like I say, some nice twists along the way and stuff. But yeah, one thing I would say is that, there isn't an awful lot of plot beyond that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but like it is quite simple in the sense, like, you have that whole thing and it's over fairly quickly. It's basically what I'm saying with this one. Like you have some toing and froing and, a little bit of peril of how they're going to find her, how the Doctor's going to get out of this situation, because obviously he's an alien as well. He shouldn't be there technically. But then it does sort of just come to an end fairly quickly once she's sucked his blood. The slabs as well, actually, they were cool. I did like the slabs. I mean, they are just guys in motorcycling helmets, but they are very cool and actually quite freaky. I remember from my childhood. Yeah, they are. So I'm just reading the chats. We've got some discussion about Converse shoes. Fantastic. Blocks of Flux. I remember when buying new Doctor Who figures did not involve going to loads of B&M stores looking for them. Quite right. This was the heyday for that sort of stuff. It really was. 2007. Great time. Great time to be a fan. Especially for all the merchandise, especially for the new series merchandise, because we still do get quite a lot of merch these days. It's just more weighted towards like the archive stuff, the classic era stuff, or whatever, the heritage stuff. rather than the current era, which is a shame. I think that one is just a screen grab there, isn't it? And of course, we've got that one as well. Yeah, so that is Smith and Jones. Emily was watching Smith and Jones earlier to get in the mood for this stream. Fantastic. Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, I got my act together with this one and announced it in advance. So I hope that would have helped people in deciding to watch it and stuff. But yeah, I think this is all the same sort of stuff on this page, isn't it? I'm just sort of scrolling through. Yeah, so no Judoon, which is bizarre. I guess what happens when you type in like Smith and Jones Judoon? Do you get any different images? Smith and Judoon, Smith and Jones Judoon. Yeah, it's just screen grabs, isn't it? Really, apart from like the images that are on book covers and stuff. Bizarre. In fact, I did notice as well. There is this image on the Black Archive, but I believe actually that isn't from Series 3. I believe that this is from Series 5. I think it was taken for the Pandorica Opens. Yeah, just because I remember seeing it in like stuff around 2010, that image. So I think that is a different Judoon there. But also there are some images here that I don't think we've looked at yet. Yeah, I haven't seen that one before. That's an interesting one. A Tennant there. Again, from this sort of photo shoot, isn't it, with the moon. And this one as well of Freema and David. Isaac, hello. Isaac was taken in the chat saying that Smith and Jones might be his favourite RTD opener. So fun. So far, sorry. It's fun, we can say that now. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, it's fun that we can say so far. Yeah. Of course, we're going to get more RTD series openers in the coming years. Very exciting. And there's this one as well, isn't there? Yes, these are cool. I haven't seen these on any other sites. So that's great to find them on the Black Archive. Hooven Espresso Extra remembers seeing Smith and Jones when they did the Doctor Who evening at the Natural History Museum. Oh, interesting. I don't think I've heard about that before. Let's have a Google for that. Doctor Who evening, Natural History Museum, 2007. Just coming up with stuff from 2019. Let's restrict this to 2007. Hold on. Change the year to 2007. Manchester, not quite right. No, I can't seem to find anything about that. So do share more information about that. Hooven Espresso Extra in the chat. We have Oliver Purvis with us. Hello, Oliver. Can you go through the CBBC freeze download wallpapers they used to do? What for? Do you mean for Doctor Who or for Sarah Jane Adventures? Because that was CBBC, wasn't it? Or do you mean like on the website? I mean, I can try. I don't know if that stuff still available to view. Like if we go onto Doctor Who Series 4 website. No, hang on, not that website. The other one. Oh, hang on. How do you find it? This one. Do they still? No, it's redirected, doesn't it? You can still access the homepage for this, the old website from back in the day. But But yeah, unfortunately, all the stuff on it, it just... Well, you can still access that page as well. Trailer Maker, Comic Maker, RIP. Oh, and you can access this page, the features page. Okay, so you can access the galleries. Which is the oldest gallery you can access? Oh, I think it's just stuff from like 2009. Like, it's all stuff from the handover, isn't it, to Matt Smith, basically, and the specials years. Yeah, it's sad that you can't view that stuff anymore. I'm sure it's still online in some form. Yeah, but anyway, I think I'm up to date with the chat just about. Oh, I get you. Okay. So apparently, that was the right thing we just found. Doctor Who Natural History Museum. That was the thing that Hooven Espresso Extra went to. This thing in 2019. Oh, I see. Yeah, screening of the episode Smith and Jones, with Millennium FX doing stuff as well. Free entry, fantastic. That must have been cool. And yeah, the moon images do have sort of Halloween vibes to them, don't they? Which is cool. Oh, I see. Yeah, they showed off the Jadoon head from Series 12 as part of that talk. Wow, that's amazing. I remember actually they did some stuff, and maybe you'll be able to find it on the Black Archive actually, if it's on here. Like, it was a good month or two before Series 12 came out. They just randomly took like the Jadoon captain and a couple of Jadoon troopers into like London or somewhere, like to a tube station or something like that, I think, and just like a photo shoot. It was mad. I don't think you've got them on here. No. But very briefly, let's just try and find them. Jadoon, Doctor Who, 2019, London. Let's see if we can find it. Here we go. Victoria Station. Yeah, it's weird. Like, so back in December 2019, like I say, a whole month before Series 12 started, they just randomly took these costumes out, and just did a little photo shoot thing, which, I mean, it's cool. It's definitely cool. Bit random, but very cool. In fact, were there any like high res photos of this? Maybe it was just other people's photos that made it out. Maybe there aren't any like official photos of them, actually, to be fair, because it's just like people's tweets there, isn't it? Oh, there are some like stock photos, but they're like press ones with watermarks on them and stuff. Editorial use only, apparently. Yeah, so we've spent a good half hour or so. I'm just checking Twitter. On Smith and Jones. Let's go on to the Shakespeare Code and do that one next. Sorry, I am just dealing with a technical hitch. Apparently, someone can't send messages in the chat because it's a made for kids video. I'm not aware of having done that. Let me just check. No, it's not a made for kids video. I'm not sure why that would be. But yeah, I did put a few precautions in place for the chat, just because last week we had some antics with bots and spam and stuff. So yeah, I have put like a slow mode thing on where you can only put a message in the chats every 5 seconds. That's the thing now. And you can also only put a message in the chats if you have subscribed to the channel. So if you're watching this by any chance and haven't subscribed and want to post a message, please do subscribe, and then you can post a message. Hello, Will Newlands. Great to have you with us, my one and only channel member currently. We are 3 streams in, he says, only on to Season 3 promo pics. Well, yeah, I mean, that's how the cookie crumbles, to be honest. We're currently getting through 1 series every week at the moment, every stream, so it's taking a while, yeah, to get to the latest stuff, but be patient and we'll get there eventually. But yeah, for Smith and Jones, for Shakespeare Code then, bit curious as well, again for these ones, that we don't have many pictures of the Carry Knights. Like we've got this one here at the end. A nice sort of freaky close-up of like Mother Doomfinger and whatever the other one was called that wasn't Lilith, the other one. Doomfinger, Lilith, and was it like Bloodfinger or something? If you know, let me know in the chat what the other Carry Knight was called. But yeah, again, like it's a bit of a shame to not have more photos of them, of the monsters. Oh right, wow! Blocks of Flux was there at Victoria Station and got a photo with the Jadoon captain for that little publicity stunt thing. Wow, fantastic! Mother Bloodtide. There we go. Thank you, Sam. Shakespeare Code is one of those episodes that's enjoyable, but sometimes I sometimes had to force myself to watch. Yeah, I haven't watched this one in quite a while, actually. Because I went to the Globe Theatre like 5 years ago or something for the first time, and I watched it in preparation, and I had a good time with it, you know. I thought it was pretty good. That's a fairly iconic photo of Tennant there, isn't it? Sort of doing his to be or not to be sort of thing with his hand. Yeah, I was sort of pleasantly surprised when I went back to it, but I haven't watched it in quite a while. I don't think I've watched it since the whole Gareth Roberts thing sort of blew up either. So I don't know whether that might inform my my take on the story. I mean, I seem to remember, you know, that aside, of course, I seem to remember it being pretty decent. Nothing too special, but, you know, it was sort of good fun. Nice, fun Shakespeare references in there to his plays and stuff. Very iconic shot there of whatever he was called, like, is it like Dean Lennox Kelly, I think? Dean Lennox Kelly. Dean Lennox Kelly, I think is that actor's name. Yeah, that was everywhere back in the day, that photo. Oh, and not this one, but that photo as well of Tennant. That was everywhere back in the day, like in your sticker books and stuff, and your magazines and your books. Very iconic photo there. Yeah, once I've finished going through the promo pics particularly for these earlier seasons, I would love to do like a sort of collage of the most iconic ones and post it to Twitter or something. Of course, this dude as well. So, obviously, when I first watched this Series 3 and first watched Shakespeare Code, I had no idea what Peep Show was. And then a few years back, I watched Peep Show for the first time. And now this character has a very different meaning to me. If you haven't watched Peep Show, then that is something for you to look forward to in years to come. Go and watch it, and then you will never look at this character in quite the same way again. And that is everything, I think. And we'll double check. I don't think there'll be anything else on DVD Bash, will there? No, it's all the same stuff. Yeah, done a good job with these episode stills. Universe archives, of course. Yeah, so Dr. Master, great to have you with us at last. Glad that you've made it. Oh right, I see. So you've put these images are in the Gridlock section. I see. Yeah. So we've got a couple more like generally ones again here. Like that one of Talent. That's a nice one. Nice white background shot of him there. And that one as well. But yeah, Doc's Master, do you think we'll get any Legend of the Sea Devils news on February the 26th because of Jodie doing her Comic-Con talk? Yeah, that's at London Film and Comic-Con, isn't it? Maybe, but like at the same time with those Comic-Cons and stuff, I don't know if they ever have done that before. Like I know they've done it for like San Diego Comic-Con and stuff, like exclusive bits and pieces. But for the UK cons, I don't think they've done it as much, like exclusive trailers or whatever. So I suppose you never know. It would be nice. It would be nice if you could at least give some stuff away about the episode. Gallifreyan Rebel. Classic Doctor Who is coming to Forces TV. It certainly is. And that's very exciting indeed. A lovely shot of the TARDIS. I don't think I've seen that one before. So, yeah, for anyone not in the know, that was announced this week, I think, wasn't it? That Forces TV, a Freeview channel, is broadcasting classic Doctor Who serials for the first time, starting with Spearhead from Space. Can't remember exactly when that's going to be, but they are showing like 12 serials in total, I think, across the coming weeks, which is fantastic to see. Always great to see Doctor Who, and classic Doctor Who in particular, back on the telly, back on the box. But yeah, these are cool photos here. The one that from this batch that I remember most would be this one, I think. Yeah, I've seen that one quite a few times before. These other ones, not so much, but great to see them for the first time tonight. It was a really nice little set, this place with the booths, wasn't it, for Gridlock? I believe it was shot at I think it's the Maltings in Cardiff, that's what it's called. It's like a little, sort of like a little alleyway, a little like private like alleyway or yard in between some buildings. They've used it quite a few times for like Victorian settings, like in The Next Doctor, the bit with the cyber shade where it runs up the side of the building, that's here. Also in Deep Breath with Avastra right at the start of that story, where they see the dinosaur in the Thames, that's also here. Yeah, Doctor Master, I hope at least a release date, because I think we all know what it is. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it will be Easter Saturday, the release date for Legend of the Sea Devils. I think it will be. Block to Flux is going to meet Jodie and Mandip. Very, very nice at Comic Con. And we've got some interesting stuff, just catching up with the chat. We had a suggestion from Red Number 1 about a companion that was a Silurian agent. Yeah, love that. That'd be fantastic. Hooven Espresso Extra had never heard of Forces TV until the announcement that they were doing Doctor Who. Yeah, me neither. Oh my goodness. Yes, of course. Brannigan, of course. Again, it's not something that I was aware of at the time, but as who was it? Someone pointed out. Illsqueak pointed out. Brannigan was, of course, played by Ardal O'Hannon, I think is his name, who was, of course, in Father Ted. Which is a funny thing to think about. And of course, he's gone on to do Death in Paradise as well, hasn't he? I don't think he's on the show anymore. I think he did a couple of seasons. But yeah, that's mad. I mean, what a character Brannigan was. What a character. Gotta love him. Got to love him. But yeah, if you are enjoying this, please do leave a like. If you haven't already, that'd be fantastic. And keep the chat coming. And I'll do my best to keep up with it as we go through these promo pics. We are on to that photo that the official Twitter and stuff always post on International Cat Day. Or whatever it is. With David Tennant and a little kitten. Of course, one of Brannigan's kittens, in fact. That was bonkers, but I love it. Like the fact that their kids were literally kittens. Oh yeah, and of course, as Hooven Espresso Extra points out, here she is, yeah. Brannigan's wife here was Bill's foster mum in Series 10 of Doctor Who. A handful of appearances, like in the pilots, and I think she was in the Extremis as well. And was that it? Was she in any other episodes? I can't remember. It wasn't a massive role, but yeah. She made a comeback. I think she's called Jennifer Hennessy or something. Yeah, and again, actually, I mean, you can sort of understand why with this one, but it's sad that we don't get many images of the episode's monster in the episode stills. I mean, obviously they are computer generated, the macra, so it's sort of understandable why that is. Of course, David here, and Freema as well in a minute. There she is, yeah, of course, in the Temple of Peace in Cardiff, a location which has been used so many times over the years. Most recently in the Season 22 trailer, The Eternal Mystery, with Nicola Bryant making a comeback as Perry. Yeah, Sam says there's actually few actors who've been on Doctor Who who've crossed over to Death in Paradise, come to think of it. Yeah, I've watched the odd episode of Death in Paradise, and that's certainly true from what I've seen. I'm pretty sure Charlotte Ritchie was in an episode once. Of course, she was in Resolution, Doctor Who. I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, the big police chief guy. He was the president in Rise of the Cybermen, of course. I think his name is Don something. Can't quite remember. But yeah, he was there. Are there many others I can remember off the top of my head? I mean, obviously Chris Marshall was in it. Chris Marshall was in it for a long time. He's not actually been in Doctor Who, but yeah, for a long time people said he was going to be the 13th Doctor. Obviously didn't happen. But yeah, anyway, we are now on to the Dalek two-parter from this series. If I'm just going to cross-reference on this side as well. I don't think there's anything we've missed from Gridlock. No, that's all the same. And then for this Dalek stuff, yeah, I thought there was something different here. So that's like a oh, you have got the portrait version of it as well. Yeah, the portrait version of that Dalek image. That was what I was thinking of there. Ralph Little, of course, yes. He was in Death in Paradise. Well, he's like the... I think he's still on the show, isn't he? He's like the lead detective guy. He was in Smile. Very briefly. Very, very briefly back in the day. In Smile. And Peter Davison was apparently in it as well. I'm not sure if I watched that one or not. But yeah, so on to the episode stills for this episode. I mean, this is a fantastic set, isn't it, really, for Hooverville. I believe this was shot in Butte Park in Cardiff. Which is, yeah, it's like basically like a big green space. They had all this stuff that they put there, all this set dressing and stuff. Really quite spectacular when you think about it. And then they photoshopped in the New York skyline in the background. Don Warrington, he was the one that was in Death in Paradise. Evening, Alex Rooney, great to have you here. Bring me pictures of Spider-Man. I'm sure we will. Very, very shortly. Yeah, Samsung, he doesn't think this story gets a lot of love. I would agree there. I think there's some good stuff in the Dalek two-parter from Series 3. I think there's some good sort of historical, social history stuff. You know, with like the Wall Street crash and the start of the Great Depression, and how that ties in to stuff with Mr. Digros, like this sort of shady business, like capitalist dude, essentially, isn't he? He's like trying to get people to work for him and to make money out of them and exploit them. And the Daleks also sort of play into that as well. So yeah, it's an interesting one. There we go, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man. Spider-Man himself, before he became Spider-Man. I'm not a massive Spider-Man fan, but I do know the basics about Andrew Garfield being Spider-Man. Yes, no, I think there is some great stuff in here, to be honest. And it does deserve more love, I think. I mean, there are sort of some weird things about it, like the whole musical number with Tallulah is a bit weird, but you can sort of see why they did it, I suppose. But yeah, like Alex is saying, you know, it's good fun. Not the best Dalek story ever, but it is good fun. I do like all the stuff like with, and we'll get onto it with the second half of the story in a moment or two. But all the stuff with like Dalek human hybrid, and it's basically like a rehash of the human factor stuff from Eve of the Daleks, but in a 21st century story, and that is really fun, you know. And it's quite a new and different idea as well. This idea of, you know, the Daleks sort of being so desperate, basically, they sort of think to themselves, well, can we extract something from the humans, you know, from our enemies, to sort of make ourselves stronger Yeah, it's got a really sort of experimental sort of vibe to it, all that sort of stuff. And, obviously, like, I don't know, does it come off particularly well? Maybe not. But then again, like, I mean, we'll talk about Daleks like Hybrid. We will talk about him in a moment. Because, people are always saying he looks phallic with his tendrils and stuff. And again, like, as a kid, it never even occurred to me, to be honest, that thought. It just didn't occur to me. And, yeah, I liked him. I like Daleks like Hybrid. I'm not ashamed to say that. Yeah, I thought it was fun. A nice, neat idea, merging Daleks and humans together. There are a lot of photos from this bit, aren't there? With a bit of a look on her face. Of course, the weird thing as well, looking back at Tallulah, is that the actress who played her, who I believe is Miranda Rayson, has gone on to play a 6th Doctor companion for Big Finish. Is that Constance Clark, or am I thinking of someone else? I think that's her name. The name of the character. These are pretty cool. Pretty funny photos, aren't they? These ones. Good reaction photos there. Whoops. Let's zoom out again. So that is Daleks in Manhattan. Oh yeah, Emily's saying there that it's the Dalek mutant looks a bit like a root, and it certainly does. That big green blob. Certainly does. Evolution of the Daleks then. Evolution of the Daleks. I saw the other day Universe Archives. I saw it updated this one with this this photo of Daleks like Hybrid, which is a very interesting one. A very interesting new addition to the site. And of course this one as well, which has been around for a while, knocking about. A very interesting photo there of Daleks like Hybrid doing a bit of a dance. We've officially been going for an hour now. I'm just briefly going to get myself a bit more water. I'll be back in a moment. There we go. So, yeah, obviously Laszlo, of course, big part of this story. Again, bit ridiculous, but I don't mind him too much. And then, of course, Daleks like Hybrid. Yeah, like I honestly never thought at the time that, to quote Dr. Master there in the chat, that he's essentially like face willies. I never thought that. It never occurred to me. Yeah, I genuinely, I quite like Daleks like Hybrid back in the day. We've done this one already, I think, haven't we? If we did that one, I can't remember. The Daleks, and then that one there, yeah. And that's a nice one there with a bit of space above them. So let's move on to the episode stills for this one, because they are the sort of thing that appear in this. As I was mentioning at the start, the photo photo album, sticker album even, for series 3 and 4, which, yeah, it was one of the things that I first got my hands on as a fan back in the day. And it starts off actually with evolution of the Daleks. That is one of the, well, it's the first episode that's covered in this. So a lot of the photos that we're going to be looking at from here on in, basically, will be familiar to me and possibly to viewers as well, from the album. In fact, I'm going to open this up and leave it open just to the side here and sort of remind myself that as we go as to which photos, you know, which ones are the ones that I would have seen in the album. I mean, like, looking through, actually, there are quite a few photos in the album that aren't here, I think. So clearly there are other photos beyond this that remain unreleased. But certainly, I mean, things like this one here of Dalek Sack Hybrid, is very iconic from back in the day. Very, very iconic indeed. And like, yeah, things like this one as well. But yeah, that's hold on, I'm just checking Twitter a minute. Apparently, I need to check Twitter. Let me just have a look. Oh my gosh. Right. Let's pull that up, actually. Let's pull it up. I just got tagged in this tweet by Doctor Master. Where's it gone? Lovely thing here. No words really to describe this. No words. So let's not even bother trying. Let's quickly move on from that. Onto these photos of Hooverville at night. With Tennant doing his angry thing. Yeah, Tallulah pulls some funny faces, doesn't she, in these pics? Some funny faces. And Tennant does as well, actually, doesn't he? And Solomon there. Yeah, poor Solomon. Poor Solomon, eh? Alex says, the Laszlo prosthetic is honestly fantastic, as is the Dalek Sec one, the hybrid one, yeah. Dumb, but bloody well made. I mean, yeah. Absolutely. Like, that is the thing about this story, I think, is that a lot of it, there are things like that tonally are a bit iffy. You know, like the whole thing with Laszlo, like how do you take him seriously when he literally looks like a pig? But at the same time, you know, you got to give it to them. Yeah, I'm just looking through the sticker album. This is one that was a sticker back in the day. In fact, that stuff patterning there is, I didn't realise it stretched that far back, but that's like the motif they used in the Sign of the Daleks, isn't it? Like for the computer screens and set dressing and stuff, like this circular stuff in the middle. So that's very interesting. I will say as well, actually, that the in fact, we'll be moving on to more pictures of it just now, I guess. But the set for the Dalek lab, which is like underneath the Empire State Building, I think, isn't it? I believe. That is a really great set. Really cool set. Like with all your lab equipment, like just there, for instance, you have a little, what do we call it? What are they called? Little, like beaker thing. And a Bunsen burner underneath. Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, like, the stuff that happens in this story, like, yeah, it's sort of like, it's sort of a bit hard to take seriously, like I say, but there is some stuff, you know, like particularly when the Doctor and Daleks, like hybrids, are talking to each other in the laboratory at the start of the evolution of the Daleks, you know, about whatever it is, like the Daleks' capacity to change and to become more human and stuff. You know, fair play. It is decent stuff, and it takes the Daleks in new directions, and it's just a really interesting angle to go down. Basically, well, I feel like a lot of New Who Dalek stories have been quite interested by that idea of the human Dalek. Like this one takes it to the extreme by literally having a human Dalek. But all that stuff, like in Dalek, the Dalek telling the Doctor that he would make a good Dalek and all that sort of stuff. That is a big preoccupation, I feel, with New Who Dalek stories, or like with Rusty saying the same thing as the 12th Doctor, or like Clara being inside the Dalek in The Witch is Familiar. All that sort of stuff, or Oswald indeed in Asylum of the Daleks. Yeah, like New Who loves telling stories about what happens when, yeah, I suppose when the Daleks do become a bit more human, or when humans become a bit more Dalek, or whichever way around you want to put it, you know. And like, I suppose it does go quite big on that idea. Like, a lot of people have said over the years, things like Asylum of the Daleks should have been a Sideman story, because it's essentially about, like, it treats the Daleks as like this thing where it's a human inside, you know, or like you can convert a human into a Dalek and put them inside the casing and stuff. And yeah, I guess, but also like, even though, like, yeah, the Daleks didn't evolve from us, you know, in the universe, they evolved from the Khaleds and stuff. But at the end of the day, they are a metaphor for humans, to a certain extent. And so, well, yeah, I feel that's something that New Who plays up to. Like, even from the Series 1 finale, you have human Daleks there again, don't you? Like, where they're using human remains or something to make the Daleks in Part of the Ways. So yeah, it is basically, it's something that that New Who Dalek stories love to sort of speculate about and play with. Like again, these guys, in fact, actually as well, human Daleks. And like again, you know, with Resolution, you know, where you have the Dalek that sort of possesses a human and walks around on the back of a human, you know, taking human form. It is a big thing, big thing in New Who. This idea that's, yeah, this idea, I suppose, of the Daleks being a metaphor for like the worst of humanity or whatever, or just I don't know, what happens when you sort of mix the two together. And like I say, this is the story which takes that, like, literally to the extreme, basically, by having a human Dalek hybrid. I was looking through, actually, it's quite a shame that yeah, like a lot of the images in this sticker album actually aren't featured here. I hadn't realised that quite so many of them are still unreleased, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we'll see as we go, like, if that changes or not. So let's move on to Lazarus Experiment next. Sam is saying that if you look at Helen Rayner, isn't it, who wrote that story, there's a common theme apparently in her Doctor Who and Torchwood stories. Let's have a look at that. So obviously Daleks in Manhattan, Evolution of the Daleks, yes. Sontaran Suggestion, The Poison Sky, yeah. And what else did she do? Okay, Ghost Machine in Torchwood Series 1, the third episode. And To the Last Man for Series 2. Okay, so the third episode of both series. Yeah. Oh, and apparently she's also written an episode of Call the Midwife in 2020. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Blocks of Flux. I watched Lazarus Experiment recently. We see a lot of Mark Gatiss' body. We certainly do. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Like at the end of this story where you have him essentially wrapped in a towel in a cathedral, just like naked. It's a weird one. And that reminds me as well of something with this story. Like I always used to get confused because I realised I cottoned on to the fact that Mark Gatiss had both written Doctor Who and acted in Doctor Who in this story. I think I always used to get confused and like think that this is one of the episodes that he wrote as well. So like he wrote it and starred in it. But no, of course it was who was it that wrote this one? Stephen Greenhorn, was it? I think. Who again is someone you don't really hear much about these days. But he did the Doctor's Daughter as well, didn't he? Oh wow, he wrote for Around the World in 80 Days. That's mad, did he? I had no idea. Oh wow, he wrote the penultimate episode. I had no idea. I've watched this and it's brilliant. The David Tennant Around the World in 80 Days. It's really good. Hold on. Yeah, this one. It's worth a watch. It's all on iPlayer if you're in the UK. Not sure about where it is in America or wherever else, but wow, I had no idea that he'd written that. Oh, like one episode of it. So that's quite interesting, actually. But yeah, and of course they're actually in that photo as well. Martha's tattoo. Something you don't get much talk about, or you don't sort of notice much. I guess it's just because Freema has a tattoo herself. But yeah, interesting that you can see it on show there. So we've of course got some discussion about the Lazarus Experiment in the chat. Let's talk about it. What do I think of it? What do I think? It's okay. I mean, like back in the day, I enjoyed it quite a bit, you know. And then when I've watched it more recently, I'm a bit more hesitant. I'm also like, is this good? I think there are definitely some great ideas in it. It's got a great sort of aesthetic to it, like with the whole Lazarus machine and stuff, and this whole sort of vibe of like this mad professor dude who experiments on himself, essentially. It is a really great idea, and yeah, I will give it to the story for that. I think it is just one of those ones, though, that sort of comes off not great right at the end or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, people always say the Lazarus monster itself looks a bit iffy in terms of the CGI. I don't mind it. I think it looks fine, to be honest. Like, you know, obviously it's not perfect. But yeah, it looks freaky. It looks how you'd expect, you know, a CGI Doctor Who monster from this era to look. Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, the kinder I am to this one, actually. I think it is alright. It's not like an all-time great or anything. Of course, Mark Gatiss there and his makeup. But yeah, it's okay. I think... I mean, it's got some great moments in it and, like, great lines, like the thing at the end where the Doctor says, oh, it's not the time that matters, it's the person. You can live more in 80 years. No, what is it? You can live more in 20 years than 80 or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But yeah, it's got a nice vibe to it. Just flicking through as well, actually. I need to double check which ones are in the sticker album for this one. Yeah, again, there's quite a few unreleased photos that aren't here. Yeah, which is a shame, but I guess I don't know. Maybe one day we'll see them again. But let's see what you guys think of this episode, because I can see there's been some stuff in the chat about it. So, Alex Rooney says, Around the World in 80 Days is a brilliant show. Am I the only one who thinks the score sounds like Good Omens and BBC Sherlock smooshed together? Well, I haven't watched Good Omens myself, but it certainly has a sort of Sherlocky vibe to it. Yeah, definitely. Like the way they sort of use that main motif from the title sequence and everything, the way that crops up within the show itself, like a billion times. Yeah, I can totally see what you mean. And just the general vibe and the instruments as well. Yeah, it is very Sherlocky in that respect. Sam says, wasn't Martha the second main character in the show to have a tattoo after John Pertwee and the Third Doctor? Yeah, I suppose she was. I never really thought about that before, but I suppose she was. 2 Million Like Head says, Lazarus Experiment, is meh, but Mark Gatiss is such a good actor. Loved seeing him in Sherlock recently. Yeah, he's very good in Sherlock. Yeah, and he's pretty good in this as well, to be honest, to be fair. He does a good job with it. I think it is a weird thing, though, like, in terms of the structure of this one, like, how you have this moment, obviously, like, this point in the episode as represented and depicted in these photos, where he's done his thing inside the, like, museum or wherever it is that he's announcing his big breakthrough with the machine, and he has the transformation and he larks about a bit down the corridors and stuff, and then he returns to human form. They get him in the ambulance and then he escapes again, and it's a bit like, isn't the story already over? Like, why have him in the ambulance if he's only going to escape out of it again? Well, I guess it makes sense in terms of like budget and stuff. Like, you can't sort of have him running around the streets of London in his big Lazarus monster form. But yeah, it's a bit. I always find it a bit of a weird moment, that like the way that happens. Bit of a weird one. But then, I don't know. I do think there is some nice stuff in this story. I think it is probably underrated. That is a photo that was in the sticker album. Big iconic shot of Tennant with his Sonic, with the ambulance in the background. Yeah, gotta love that. Oh yeah, of course, Tish. I always forget that Tish just comes along, doesn't she? Like at the end of the story for the final act in the cathedral, she just like comes along. she's there. It's a bit weird how that happens, really, isn't it? Like, how she just comes along for that bit, and then I know she's back in the finale as well, of course, but like, she never joins the Doctor and Martha again, which is a bit weird. But at the same time, I do like the thing with her, how that sort of running thread through the series where obviously she gets the job here, and then she's like headhunted by Harold Saxon, or the Master, obviously, to be as like whatever she is. Like, doesn't she work for him in the finale in some capacity? So that's quite a nice little running thread there. And the stuff with Martha's family as well. And is that, I think that might be Richard Price, one of the extras in Doctor Who, who's been in it loads. I think that's him. And he plays a Sideman these days in the current era of the show. I think that one there, yeah, that's just a screen grab, isn't it? So that's the Lazarus Experiment. Blocks of Flux. Sorry. Wishes we saw more of Tish. Yeah. I am Richard Lazarus. I am 76 years old, and I am reborn. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The Mysterious Mr. Saxon is a great storyline. It certainly is. Certainly is. Yeah, it's good fun, that one. It's alright. Who Universe Archive. I low-key love the Lazarus mutation. It is a great moment. Yeah, it's a good one. Oh, I see you put them in episode order for that one, did you? I see. Of course, yeah. Very fun. Love that. Yeah, I love that. Hoover and Espresso Extra. I always thought it might have been nice if Tish had gone with the Doctor and Martha for 42. Yeah, that would have been nice. Like, I guess Big Finish might do that one day. I'm trying to think now if... Because, like, when she appears in the finale, like, is there enough leeway there to have Tish go off on an adventure and then still be the person who she is in the finale? You know, like, would it ruin things? I think they could probably get away with that. It would be quite a cool thing to see. Hold on, have I zoomed? I've zoomed out, haven't I? Yeah. So 42. Yeah, that's the sort of wallpaper artwork from the official website. That is what's her name from EastEnders as whatever she was called. I can't quite remember. Gosh, massive mind blank there. But onto the episode stills. Yes, this is how it was represented in the. Oops, it's falling apart in the. That way. Oops, there we go. In the sticker album, loads of sort of red tinged photos, obviously, and some bits with the like the equipment. The I was looking for. Yeah, you do get it here on the officially released images, like this stuff with the whatever it is, like this sort of machine where it freezes people or whatever. I can't even remember, to be honest. It's a long time since I've watched this episode. I should probably go and revisit it, really. Of course, there in the background, Rosa Parks. Yeah, same actress who played Rosa Parks in Series 11, Vanette is it Robinson or Robson? Vanette Robson, I think. I can't remember. One of the two. Michelle Collins, thank you, and she plays Kath McDonnell. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Rebellious Project says both Lazarus and 42 are very underrated, enjoyable episodes, which are very overhated, but that's just my Series 3 bias, as it's my favourite Tennant season. No, I think there's something in that. I think that's fair enough. I think that is fair. Like, I think particularly with this one, looking at the images from it, what strikes me is a sort of the whole like production design on it and the lighting and stuff. And like, I don't know whether they like rubbed Vaseline on David Tennant's forehead there or whatever. But yeah, in a lot of these images, the characters do look very hot and sweaty, and like, it's certainly an episode where even where, you know, looking at the photos and stuff from this episode, you do get a sense of that heat. You know, it's a hot episode. It's a warm episode. Yeah, and very kind of dark, and again one of those sort of gritty, grungy sort of environments, like space future environments, like in the Impossible Planet and Satan Pit. And of course, the current first script as well, even for the current showrunner or outgoing showrunner, Chris Chibnall. His first contribution to Doctor Who. Of course, before this, he'd overseen Torchwood Series 1. I'm running a few episodes for that. That image there is one that did the rounds loads back in the day. I'm just looking. Yes, it was in the... in fact, that's interesting. The version of that in the sticker album... in fact, the middle pages have fallen out, so I'll just show you here. That image there, it's the same image, but it's like a more... like less cropped version of it. Which is interesting. So I guess, yeah, like, for some of these images then, they must like crop them and they must be wider in like the originals, which is interesting. Two Million Like Cad says 42 is pretty bad in my opinion. And Hooven Espresso Extra says 42 is giving me summer holiday vibes when I'm too sweaty and hot to enjoy myself. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it'd be quite a good one to watch on a hot day, wouldn't it, this one? Well, then again, like, if you watch any episode of Doctor Who, or watch anything on a hot day, with the sun blaring through the window, it can be difficult to see the screen, unless you've got like blinds or something. Put the blinds down and stick it on. And feel the heat. Burn with me. Burn with me. Yeah, petition to get the line "Burn with me" into the centenary special, Chris Chibnall's last episode of Doctor Who, at least for the time being. Petition to get that in there. To have Hal Corwin just crop up again and say that. Oh my god, that would be amazing. Block to Flux. This is not a good start for Chibbers. Well. Oh dear. I mean, again, it's got some good ideas in it, like Lazarus Experiment. Like, namely with the gimmick of the whole thing taking place in real time, almost. Although it doesn't quite take place in real time, from what I can remember, but it's like, it's sort of in real time-ish. Obviously with like your countdown clock running through. It's quite interesting as a sort of little bottle episode, or a little sort of budget episode, like one setting, obviously, a little gimmick in there. A bit like, you know, Eve of the Daleks most recently with the whole time loop thing. But yeah, I guess it's whether it executes that particularly well or not. Like lots of people would say no, it doesn't particularly. I think I would agree that it overall it's a fairly average episode. But it is one, actually, now looking back at these photos, that I'm quite keen to go back and watch again, because, yeah, it's just, it's interesting, and also to think about it as a Chris Chibnall story, maybe to go back and watch it and see if I can pick up on any little Chris Chibnall tropes or whatever. That would be a cool thing to do. Hoovian Espresso Extra. I'd rather put Planet of the Udon and dream of winter in the heat of summer, not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean, in fact, to be fair, all this talk, I was quite thirsty to begin with, and all this talk of heat is making me even more thirsty, so I might, after this, take a very quick break and go and get some more water. I've got a little bit left here. Let's have the cast of 42 randomly turn up in the centenary and groan, burn with me, and then just leave. I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's what I want to see. Hoovian Espresso Extra. Interesting point there. Hoovian Espresso Extra thinks that this is trying too hard to be like the Impossible Planet meets The Empty Child. That's interesting. I hadn't quite thought of it like that before. Because like I suppose what do we even call him? Like do we just call him Corwin or Hal Corwin? Like the antagonist of this story. I don't know what we call it. The 42 creature. In the vein of the Midnight Creature. I don't know, but yeah, like, of course, Rosa Parks there. It is a bit like The Empty Child, isn't it? Like, where you've got a monster that wears a mask. It's like a person or a human character who's been possessed or taken over or whatever is wearing this mask with, like, blank features on the face. And, goes around chanting the same old phrase over and over again, and like goes around touching people and turning them into. Oh, hold on, I've completely forgotten what happens actually when Hal Corwin touches you in this. Do you just die, or do you? What happens? I've forgotten. And obviously, with The Empty Child, you sort of turn into a gas mask zombie. Do you just like burn to death? Is that the thing? I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. And of course, actually thinking about this as well, looking at these images of these side characters now and thinking about how they sort of get dispatched one by one, it reminds me a bit as well of Curse of the Black Spot, which obviously came after this. But like, again, it's sort of set on a ship. Oh, hang on, that's the image I was talking about earlier from the album. So that is that different to that one? Okay, it's right. How old is that? Is it the same picture but just cropped? What's going on there? Is that the same image? I think it. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's the same picture, but just like edited. That's a weird one. Anyway, tangent. Yeah, where was I? Hot stuff. Taraji Sun Possessed. Is that what the antagonist was called? Yeah, Taraji. That was the name of the sun. Because of course that was quite a neat idea as well. This notion of like a sentient sun or a sentient star or whatever. Um, yeah, so Hal Corwin. Okay, Hal Corwin was possessed by the star Taraji. Um, Main aliases: living star. I love that. Um, hmm, interesting stuff. Where did we get up to with these? So we got up to that one of Michelle Collins, didn't we? I think I've got that image already, haven't I? And then there was that one. And then you've also got that one there as well. Cool. So we've passed the halfway point now for this for series 3. I am just going to take a very quick break. And in order to do that, I should probably just make a quick break thing, like something to go up on the screen while I'm away. I should have thought this through a bit more, shouldn't I? But if I just take the stream starting soon thing and make it say back in a moment or something. Yep, that'll do. Back in a mo. Save a copy. Yeah, so I will just go and get some water and then to stop myself from going the same way as Hal Corwin. And then once I'm back in a minute or two, we will continue with the rest of series 3, I guess, or as much of it as we can fit in into the time scale. So let's just bring this in. Oops, that's not the right one. Not that one. That one, there we go. Right, I'll be back in just a moment. Am I back now? Can you hear me? I think I am unmuted now. Sorry about that. I am back, yes. So, we're going to crack on with the rest of Series 3. Let me know if I'm still... No, I'm not still muted, am I? Can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know. Someone put in the chat if you can hear me. Just say, I don't know, say John Smith, if you can hear me. Put John Smith in the chat. All good, fantastic. Yeah, apologies about that. So, yeah, Human Nature from the Blood, obviously an acclaimed two-parter from Paul Cornell. Can you hear me? Fantastic. Yep, loud and clear, great stuff. So, looking through, there's a spread for Human Nature in the sticker album. There's also a spread for Family of Blood. So that's what you get for Human Nature. So let's see. I'm just looking through. Yes, that image of Martha, for instance. That's one of the ones that was in the sticker album back in the day. That's in there. What else is in there? That one of Joan. Yeah, that was in there as well. That one there. What else have we got? Oh, that one of that one of Tennant as John Smith, obviously, as well. Yeah, so let's go through these, to be honest, and chat about this story as well, and what we make of it. We have got... Oh, we dropped off a bit. 14 viewers. Yeah, if you are watching and you're enjoying, please do leave a like. I'll do some more shout outs now. Always good to keep doing the shout outs. So, social media. I haven't done a social media shout out so far in this stream. If you want more antics like this, then obviously subscribe. If you haven't already, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stetson Doctor. You can support me on Patreon via the link in the description. That'd be very much appreciated if you're in a position to do that. It would be great to get our first super chat on the channel during this stream. Again, if there's anyone that fancies that. But otherwise, I think that's all of the shout outy stuff out of the way. So, yeah, Human Nature and Family of Blood is an interesting one. I think, yeah, on the whole, it is pretty good, to be honest. It is pretty good. There was an interesting comment from Red Number 1 about Martha and racism in this story. Yeah, I think I've seen people talk about this in more recently. Like, was it right what they did with Martha? I mean, I guess it is just that thing, isn't it? Of it's the reality of, if she did go back in time and had to live in this time, then yeah, she would be the servant. She would be treated like that. I mean, it's the kind of, yeah. I think, to be honest, they did all right with how they treated her. Like, I think, because it's the kind of the first time, isn't it, really, where you get a companion who deals with racism. You don't really get it again until Series 11 with Rosa. like, yeah, obviously it's unfortunate that she can't play a more active role in the story, I suppose. But then, having said that, she does, because she's entrusted with looking after the Doctor, and she sort of drives things and going forwards in terms of like protecting him and all that sort of stuff. And the tension between her and Joan is really, really great as well. Really, really juicy stuff. Because they both fancy David Tennant, bless them. Yeah, it's a really interesting one dramatically, this story. It is a really interesting one. It just is, yeah. And like, again, it's another one of those romantic love interests for the Doctor. You know, for this Doctor in particular, you know, after Rose, after Madame de Pompadour, the unrequited thing with Martha, and then this, obviously. Yeah. He had a fair few admirers, didn't he, the 10th Doctor? As we can see from these photos here, especially from this one. Yeah. Not the first photo of David Tennant kissing someone that we've come across, I believe. I think it was one of him and Madame de Pompadour from Girl in the Fireplace that we looked at last week, and there might have been one of him and Rose as well. I can't remember, from New Earth. But yeah, fun fact as well, I've actually visited some of the locations from this story. So I've been inside this like village hall setting, which is an interesting one. So basically, it's a place called St. Fagin. I think Fagin is how you say it. St. Fagans in Wales, in Cardiff, or like around Cardiff. It is an interesting place. They filmed various bits for this episode there, and they also filmed stuff there for the Brendan stuff in Ascension of the Cybermen, which was very interesting. Like this building, the exterior of this building, is the same building basically where Brendan like has his retirement thing. Basically, it's the same building. So I mean, let's just pull it up. We can find a photo of it online. It is St. Fagin Museum, maybe. I mean, yeah, that's obviously the place where like the piano nearly falls on someone's head in that story, and then like just around the corner from that is this place here. So that's the building. It's like is it a workers' lodge or something, or a workers' like leisure centre or whatever. It's something like that. And then like, yes, on the top floor there where you can see the roof sort of points in, that is where this was shot. Yes, it's an interesting one. Interesting one indeed. But I'll just turn my attention to the chat very quickly, because can it be? We have had a super chat. First super chat ever on this channel. Thank you, Alex. That's lovely of you. Thank you so much. Wow. That was super duper. I'm gobsmacked. It's amazing. Fantastic. What a milestone. And Alex has left me an arrangement of the Doctor Who theme in Twitter DMs. Fantastic. I will take a look at that after the stream. I will await that very eagerly. That's great. Thanks, Alex. That's really really nice. Really nice of you. So that is all of human nature, isn't it? Family of Blood, then. Family of Blood. We have got some chat. I'm just catching up with the chat here. Alex, yeah. Brandon's theme is super fun. From Ascension of the Cybermen, yeah. It's super fun, isn't it? Super, super fun. One of his chirpier themes. But of course also very sinister when it comes back in those later scenes. When he sort of gets the electric chair treatment. So, the family of blood. Family of blood. Let's just have a look at the sticker album. So it's always very awkward doing this. I'm not quite sure. There we go. That is what we get in the series 3/4 sticker album for this story. That spread there. So let's see. I mean, yeah, right from the off, I can see that the Scarecrow images are here, and also some of the like ones in the spaceship as well. Yeah, so let's have a look at these. 2 million like head, you absolute Chad. Thanks for that. Amazing. What connects the Crotons and the family of blood? I have not got a clue. I haven't even watched the Crotons. Oh my god. But I feel I need to think of the answer now because you've been so generous. Oh gosh, the Crotons. What connects the Crotons and the family of blood? I'm guessing it could be like a classic Who thing that gets referenced in the story. Maybe like a TARDIS thing. It's not the Hads though, is it? I don't know. If anyone else in the chat knows what could possibly connect the Crotons and the family of blood, then lend me a helping hand there. Sam Anson. Family of Blood definitely has the stronger emotional and philosophical components. I mean, of the two parts of the story. Yeah, I guess it does. I mean, I think it's a very interesting place we get to in the Family of Blood. Like when they go to the cottage or whatever, like the Doctor and John Smith and Joan and Martha and Timothy Lassmer, and all this stuff plays out between them, like where it's John Smith realising who he is and realising what he's got to do, and oh yeah, it's juicy stuff. And again, taking the show somewhere it's not quite been before, and doing new stuff. Yeah, these images of the Scarecrows are very iconic, aren't they? Very, very iconic. They're quite freaky, actually, the Scarecrows. Yeah, quite freaky. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one, like an army of Scarecrows, but at the same time, it is sort of, it's a neat idea. You haven't seen the Crotons, give me my money back. Oh, goodness me. Is it Scarecrows? That's run number 1. Okay. Could be, couldn't it? If only Tang cloned himself and sent the clone to live with Joan. Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah. He could have sent the Meta-Crisis Doctor to live with Joan. But then I think by the end of the story, again, like she'd sort of matured, haven't she? Like, sort of got over him, or like not got over him, but like he offers her a trip on the TARDIS, doesn't he? Like when he's the Doctor again, and she's like, no, I don't want to do that. It wouldn't be the same or whatever, and yeah, bless her, Joan. Like, she did all right in the end, didn't she? We learned that in the end of time. But yeah, you do feel for her. It's a brilliant character, and a brilliant story from Paul Cornell. Yeah, really, really great, this one. And obviously, of course, we haven't mentioned the fact that it began life as a like one of the Virgin. It wasn't the New Adventures. It was like the past Doctor Adventures, wasn't it? What was it? A Virgin one, or was it a BBC Books one? Whatever the case, it was like a novel back in the 90s, wasn't it, with the Seventh Doctor. It's giving me Scratchman realness. Yeah. Wow. Well, there we go. And yeah, as someone said, Jessica Hines, isn't it? Jessica Hines is fantastic. Is that her name? Oh, that's her name now, isn't it? I think at the time when she did this, she was Jessica Stevenson, and then she got married or something, and now she's Jessica Hines. Yeah. Absolutely, Sam. There, spot on. Yeah, I think she very much saw the two as separate entities and considered it cruel to be asked to travel around the universe with someone wearing the face of the man she loved but could never have. Absolutely. Yeah, spot on. It's such an interesting scenario, isn't it? That it's really brilliant. So on to Blink. Which in the sticker album, just has one page, one 2-page spread. There we go. Images obviously of the Weeping Angels, of Kathy and Sally, of the letter, of the Doctor with his timey-wimey detector device thingy-bob. So let's see what we can find in the episode stills. That is, of course, the wallpaper artwork. Oh, I saw someone on Twitter recently talking about this clown, I think. So I think this was part of the set dressing for the house in Blink. And there's like a behind the scenes photo of it or something. In the upstairs bedroom where Sally pulls down the wallpaper, and like someone on Twitter was going, what was going on with this? What was the story behind it? And I think like to this day that's like an unanswered question. Like why was it there? Where did it come from? Something for Big Finish to pick up on one day, perhaps. But on to the episode stills. So right from the off, that's one that was in the album. This first one here. If I zoom out, there we go. Yeah, that was in the album. Well, like a very similar one to that, at least. I think quite a few of these actually are the ones that are in the album. Blink, again, it's got such an aesthetic, this story, isn't it? And such a different aesthetic. Yeah, that was in the album, that one there. Or like a very similar one to that, where he's holding out the letter. I remember, I can't remember where I heard it, but someone was talking recently about this dude and how when they first show him off, like in silhouette, when he rings the doorbell or whatever, he very deliberately looks like a silhouette of David Tennant to make you think that it's the 10th Doctor at the door and not just like a random stranger. I can't remember where I heard that, but I definitely did hear it recently. Of course, Carey Mulligan there, looking all young and before she got famous. Yeah, she is really great in this. Kathy, of course. Who, on the other hand, isn't quite as famous. I don't know what she's doing these days, but hey. Yeah, there are some super images here, like the this one here of the angels. I mean, like, these images, and particularly the next one as well, this sort of landscape one. Oh boy, yeah, that is a fantastic image there. It looks so good. It looks so real. It looks so freaky. It's like a quintessential weeping angel image, that, isn't it? Again, it's one of those images that was everywhere as a kid, and like it's ingrained in your mind, and it's just yeah, really, really awesome. That, really great. Gotta love the weeping angels. Oh, and of course, there's some more at the end here. Actually, so there's that one where it's behind Sally. Yeah, gotta love that. And then these ones again. Like again here, look. When it loads, if it loads, yeah, that. Just look at that. Look how realistic that looks. I don't know if that is one of the actors playing an angel or a prop or whatever, but it looks so good. And like, I think even though I'd probably say, well, I don't know actually, would I say that Village of the Angels has sort of showed them off in the best light, and like, in terms of like the direction of it and stuff, and the look of the angels? I don't know, maybe, but in terms of the promo pics and stuff, the episode stills, I think Blink has it hands down. Like, they have never quite looked this freaky again, really. Like, particularly, and let's go back to it, that one there is just such an iconic shot, and it's like, yeah, that is what you think of when you think Weeping Angel, that sort of outstretched hand and a sort of blank look on the face, sort of parted lips. Yeah, and I can see why. Like, I'm not of that opinion myself that like all the angel stories after this were a letdown or anything, or ruined the Weeping Angels. But I can definitely, at the same time, definitely get behind that idea of them sort of being at their best in this story, or looking at their best. Like, because obviously this story was before they were. It's before they were popular. Like, so it does have that sort of air around it, I suppose. Sort of vibe of they're not trying to prove anything with the angels. Like, they're trying to make a scary episode of Doctor Who, obviously, and a scary monster. But they're not working with that like expectation that the audience has got, like, when it comes to the later stories. So there is something quite sort of innocent about it, I suppose, in that they are just literally just trying them out, and yeah, it's, these are all screen grabs, aren't these ones? So that's everything from Blink, I think, isn't it? I haven't been checking on here. I don't think there's anything on here that we haven't already seen, but is that one we had here? No, I don't think we saw this one on Black Archive, so I might just copy that one across, actually. I don't think that one was on Black Archive, that one there. Are there any other ones? I think we've seen all this stuff. Yeah, I've seen all that already. Oh, it was there. Maybe I just missed it. Oh, never mind. Okay, on to Utopia, and I must catch up with your comments, actually. We've got a lot of love for Blink in the chat, yeah. About how iconic the images are, yes. About the doll, yes. Yes, Block to Flux, the house in Blink is the same house as Irene Adler's in Sherlock. It's mad to think so, but it is. It certainly is. It's Yeah, it's bonkers that in the interim they did it up and made it look like all nice and posh, and it's the same house. Um, I have doomed us all. I've shown you the image of an angel. Fantastic. All right, Hooven Espresso Extra talking about that dude. Yeah, I always thought he looked more like the Master. Yeah, fair enough. And Emily's become obsessed with Weeping Angels since Flux. She watched Blink earlier. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, interesting comments there. I mean, Alex Trunier, they're saying that he liked how they looked in Flux. Yeah, I didn't dislike it myself. I think a lot of people were very harsh when that first image, I think it was the Doctor Who magazine cover, came out, where it's the angel with the cracked face, who obviously now we know to be the rogue angel that was inside Claire's mind. Yeah, and like a lot of people slated that and said, "Oh, it doesn't look anywhere near as good as it should do, or as good as it did in the past, as good as the Angels used to look." And like, to be fair, it was a different company doing them this time round. I think doing the prosthetics, which sort of explains the difference. But I don't think it looks inherently worse or inherently bad or anything. And yeah, I agree with you. Like the little visual change there with the crack down the face did help to differentiate it and make it a bit different. Yeah, Hooven Espresso Extra. It does blow my mind how they were able to do the makeup for the Angels. I think visually they look the best in Blink, but it's my least favourite Angel story as an actual story. Fair enough. I mean, hot take, but yeah. No, I mean, that's fair. Yeah, Village of the Angels was superbly directed, wasn't it, by Stone? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Universe Archive. I feel the cameos, the Weeping Angels, wrecked them a bit. Yeah, I think it has definitely taken this time gap. Like, I've seen people say that now Village of the Angels has solidified them as like a properly good Doctor Who monster. I would agree with that take. I think it has taken the gap in time, between the Moffat era and now for that to properly allow that sort of reappraisal for them to take place. Because, like you say, back in the Moffat era, when they were appearing like in every series in a cameo role or whatever, it did get a bit much. And it was that weird period where they knew they were on something good with the Angels, and so they just sort of just threw them in everywhere basically, and perhaps sort of overused them a bit in that regard. So yeah, it's interesting to hear about different favourite and least favourite Angel stories in the chat. It's great to hear, and great to hear that people like different ones, and they all have their own fan. But anyway, on to Utopia. I don't know if at this rate we're going to get to the finale as well in this stream this week, are we? I don't know. Maybe if we press on, we might. So that's how it's represented in the sticker album. Yeah, you can see that, can't you? I mean, what strikes me looking at the thumbnails here on Black Archive is that a lot of it is TARDIS photos, isn't it? In terms of the officially released ones. I think, again, you've put them in chronological order, haven't you, which is very useful. So yeah, Martha in her outfit from the story there, and the TARDIS. All this obviously from that first scene where they're back in Cardiff, refueling, recharging, whatever. So Utopia as well. I mean, I think what I'm realising actually from doing this stream is that I have not watched a lot of Series 3 stories in a long time. because I got the Steelbook back when it came out, and I think I watched like a few of them again then, but not all of them. And like since then, I haven't really watched any of them. So yeah, I definitely need to go back, I think, and watch some of these again. Utopia is one that I think gets a bit overhyped, dare I say. I think a lot of people sort of say, oh, it's the best thing ever. Not the best thing ever. People say that about Blink. And then, oh yeah, Utopia is not exactly a step down. I mean, it's still good. It's very good. Like again, I love the vibe of it. Like with a lot of these Series 3 stories, the whole thing of like this planet at the end of the universe, the end of time, whatever. Like where the last human survivors have gone. Obviously, you know, you've got Jack back as well, which brings its own sort of spin on things. That image there is one which, yeah, it was in the sticker book, and it's a very iconic one. Where yeah, the three of them are sort of doing acting where they've got to pretend there's loads of levels above them and below them, when in actual fact it was just a set. Ollie Linklater, yeah, Utopia is meh. I wouldn't go that far myself, but I would say it's overhyped, I think. Tom Mason, hi, great to have you here. Utopia, aka the secret Doctor Who in the Night Guardian crossover. What? What's that about? Elaborate. The music is great. Yeah, Sam, I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you there. It certainly is. Yeah. I don't know. I think if I rewatched it, I'd probably enjoy it more than I have in the past, I suppose. Like the stuff with the Master is just great. You know, it's such a fantastic way to bring him back. And this woman as well is freaky. She's freaky. I think I saw a photo of what she looks like in real life actually recently, and it's nothing like that. Very weird, like because they have the false teeth obviously, and that sort of makes such a difference to the future kind in terms of making them look different. But yeah, it's amazing how, like in this story particularly, I think how they build this whole world and this whole the whole thing with world building and of how you've got these human refugees, this last ditch hope to survive with the rocket ship, this professor figure, like this massively elaborate world really, and yet in terms of what they actually build that from, it's literally just like a couple of sets and a quarry, and some extras with false teeth. Like it's mad how few resources they have, but how well they use them to their advantage. I mean, they are really freaky. Oh, that reminds me as well. Actually, this dude, the lead dude, Future Kind, I'm remembering now. That is the same guy, I think, that played the Trickster. I think Paul Mark Davis. Pretty sure that's right. Yeah. This guy with the tattoos and piercings and everything. Yeah, he played the Trickster. He also played the lead Shadowkin in Class, and he played someone in Torchwood as well. I think he's been in all of the Doctor Who shows across the board, which is a cool little accolade to have. But yeah, they are genuinely creepy. The Future Kind, like the whole sort of tribal look to them, and just they're very sort of primitive, aren't they? And very sort of animalistic, and you can't reason with them. They're just sort of hell bent on eating other humans, which is a very dark idea. Then of course, John Sim, gotta love him. You gotta love him. He is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Not my favorite Master ever, but boy does he give a great performance. Like particularly here, when he's just so happy to be reborn again, and just it's amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing, really. I think I need to rewatch this one more than any other, actually. Like, you do get some really good stories at the back end of series 3, you really do. Look at him there, look how happy he is to have his new face. Look at that. He loves it. Oh, Derek Jacobi does the voiceover for In the Night Garden. That explains it. Yeah, I've got some love for Derek Jacobi in the chats. Alex loves him. Hooven Espresso Extra thinks I should have kept Derek Jacobi as the master over John Sim. Red number 1 says, imagine Derek Jacobi as Harold Saxon. It'd be very different Harold Saxon, but yeah, imagine seeing Derek Jacobi play a master who was Prime Minister of the UK. Derek Jacobi Prime Minister, but he's evil. I would not say no to that at all. And somebody said, who was it? Someone said, thank God for Big Finish, I think, because obviously we've had more War Master stuff, haven't we, with Big Finish. Block to Flux, that was you that said that, yeah. Yeah, Alex, the Chantho mask is really good. Yeah, I agree. Looks great. And of course, she played. It's the fortune teller in Turn Left. That was her other role, wasn't it? Poor Chantho. Yeah. All right, Paul Mark Davis was in Exit Wounds in Torchwood, apparently. So Sam, let's have a look at that. Who did he play? Yeah, Futurekind, Chieftain, Trickster, Korakinus, the Shadow Kin thing, Cowled Ghost in Torchwood. Oh yeah, that guy. So you don't actually see his face, but like one of the Black Death ghosts that appears in the Torchwood Series 1 finale. Yeah. Or like he represents death or something, doesn't he? Basically. And he's done some Big Finish as well, which is interesting. Doom Coalition and Gallifrey Time War. Yeah, so he's got around, that guy. He's got around. Yeah, but so that's Utopia. Let's finish off with the finale. Let's do it. We've been going for like 2 hours 20 minutes, I think, but we've got to get to the end of the finale. Still got 18 people watching. If you are enjoying and you haven't already, please leave a like, please subscribe. Keep the messages coming in the chats. We've had 2 super chats today, which is fantastic. The first time I've had a super chat on the channel ever before. It'd be lovely to get a third, but 2, I'm not going to complain. That's fantastic. Thank you so much to Alex Rooney and 2 Million Like Head for that. So come on then, let's do the finale. Let's do it. Sound of Drums. What a story. What a master. Yeah, I sort of envy the people that were fans of the show when this stuff went out, because it was sort of just before I became a fan, basically. So I just missed out on this. It must have been such an exciting time. Like, as well, like, if you think about it, like having this younger master and this different take on the master, I bet there were loads of people that were kicking off about that on the forums and stuff, and saying, "Oh, John Sim is a rubbish master. He's nothing like Delgado," all that sort of stuff. But no, like I say, he's not my favourite take on the master ever, but he does do a brilliant job. And images like that first one there, I mean, obviously, it's probably most iconic now. This image from when they announced he was coming back in Series 10, more than anything else, actually. That's where we've seen that image the most. But yeah, he's just great. He's great. He's a great master. The master of many of our childhoods, really, people of my age. I think there are some images here that I haven't seen before. Some variants from this photo shoot. Slightly dodgy sort of compositing going on here, or lighting or whatever, where his jacket looks a bit weird. But hey, at the end of the day, it's cool. Yeah, some really cool stuff here. Then, of course, that fantastic wallpaper as well. Fantastic wallpaper. And, wow. That is an image that I was not expecting to see today. So that is the cameraman, is it, from like the Valiant, when they're doing the press stuff, the TV broadcast? If I believe he got his own Battles in Time card, didn't he, that guy? Wow. That is a rare gem. Red number 1, top 10 masters, Richard. I don't know if I can think of 10. Well, no, how many have there been? I mean, it depends whether you count the expanded universe ones, I suppose, doesn't it? I mean, I'll give you my sort of top 3 or whatever, say, or my favourites. Just looking at the that's what we get for the sticker album for this story. Oh, hang on, there we go. Yeah, there's not many images actually for this. Not many images for this one, are there, in terms of the episode stills? But yeah, so top masters. Do you know, it's a really tricky one actually, because for a long time I would have said Michelle Gomez, and I probably still would, to be honest. I probably still would, because I just think that the thing they did with her and making the Master good was a really interesting take on the character. And like sort of explaining, like I know they did it with Sim as well, sort of explaining the motivation of the Master, you know, showing his childhood and stuff and the untempered schism. But I think with Missy they really nailed that idea, you know, of it being a friendship gone wrong. You know, Stephen Moffat famously said, I didn't know how to approach writing the Master, and then I realised that was my way into it, like having it as a friendship gone wrong, and that really works. It really works. And yeah, but I have really enjoyed Sacha Dhawan as well. Well, I think. Well, I say that. I mean, I have enjoyed him. I think in terms of favourite actor to play the Master or favourite take on the role, I would still say Missy. But I do think Chibnall really nails the character of the Master, particularly in The Timeless Children. This whole idea that he sort of discovered this thing about the Doctor. You know, the Doctor was special. Well, special. You know, but the Doctor, there's a part of the Doctor inside him, you know, in terms of regeneration and the Time Lord sort of base code for the Time Lord DNA and whatever, and that really just drives him mad. You know, like you have a different thing for all the Masters. You know, for the John Sim Master, it's the untempered schism that is the main thing that drives him mad, and the knocking in his head and the four drum beats, you know, all that sort of stuff. With Missy, it's basically like loneliness, I guess. Loneliness, or you could say that, or it's like the fact that the Doctor isn't her friend, or I don't know. Like, what would you say? What is her motivation? I mean, her motivation is to get her friend back. Basically, that's her motivation. You know, to become friends with the Doctor again. She just has a very twisted way of going about that, and sort of how to do that, and yeah. And then, like I say, with the Sacha Dhawan Master, what I think is so brilliant, and yeah, it's a controversial thing the whole time, a child thing, but it really enables you to actually have this dynamic between the Doctor and the Master where it goes right back to the beginning. You know, it goes right back to their childhood, or even before that. This idea, you know, that there is a part of the Doctor inside the Master, and that drives him absolutely mad, and he can't stand it. I really love that idea, and then the way that he then thinks to himself, right, what am I going to do then? I'm going to use this to my advantage. I'm going to make an army of Cybermasters, you know, Cybermen, Time Lord hybrids, so I can say to the Doctor, well, look, you know, these things exist because of you. You know, the whole regeneration thing is because of you, and so therefore these Time Lord Cybermen hybrids are because of you. You know, they can only regenerate because of you. it's like the ultimate perversion of the Doctor and everything she stands for. It's brilliant. I love it. I'm such a sucker for it. I love it. I need to do a video about it one day, but yeah, it's fantastic. We've got a lot of master chats in the chats. Alex Rooney, is the torchwood blowfish in The Magician's Apprentice? What, in the bar? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Hangover me, Martha Ha. Blocks of Flux says, did you know that Russell T Davies got the 4 knocks idea from his alarm clock? I did not know that. Is that true? What's the source for that? I mean, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying that is bonkers. I'd love to hear where you found that out. Emily says, Missy, yeah, is a favourite incarnation of the Master. The War Master comes a close second. Yeah, Derek Jacobi has done wonderful things with the part on audio on Big Finish. I've listened to how many boxes have I listened to? Just like, I listened to the first box set and some of one of the other ones. I need to finish it off. And yeah, he does a really good job. And I know like people have said as well. Oh, hang on, I never did the Utopia behind the scenes, didn't I? Utopia behind the scenes. I've got these two. Yeah, I know that a lot of people have said that, you know, that he's really grown into his own as the Master. On audio on Big Finish. So yeah, Gomez definitely embodied the sort of mercurial personality of the Master. Absolutely, Sam. Yeah, that sort of schizophrenic thing almost. Well, not schizophrenic, but sort of that in a conflict. Yeah. Hooven Espresso Extra says top 3 are Missy, Jacobi, Sasha, maybe Ainley. Yeah. Duan, Gomez, Sim, are they your top 3, Alex? Yeah, I see a ranking there, yeah. Sim, Duan and Ainley says red number 1. Yeah, fair. Chris Master, yeah, the Chris Master was, yeah, Peter Pratt and Jeffrey Beers, that's correct. Duan is the manic master who overdosed on caffeine. Fantastic. Missy did. Missy did indeed dab. Force Dalek, hello. Nice to have you with us. Yeah, Alex, it would be cool to see Matt Smith opposite Duan's Master. I agree with that. Maybe an anniversary special or something. That'd be a nice thing to do. Interesting. Emily says that in one of the River Song audios with K9, one incarnation of the Master is described as a sugar rush in purple, and that could potentially be Sasha's Master. Very interesting. I love that. It's fantastic. So, imagine Tennant meeting Missy. Yeah, I love these little combinations we're getting suggested in the chat. You know, these different Master Doctor combinations. I mean, that would be a fantastic idea just in itself for an anniversary special. You know, just have it just be the Doctor and the Master, but as many Doctors as you can get and as many Masters as you can get, and then just mix and match them together. You know, so have like Tennant and Missy, Smith and Gomez, Capaldi and Duan, or whatever, just whatever. Or, I mean, it was going to be Smith and Duan, wasn't it? And like, you know, Missy and the 13th Doctor, or whatever. You know, you get what I'm saying. That would just be a really cool concept, and just to watch them opposite each other. Because obviously, like each Master, like particularly the new series ones, they do each belong to their own era, their own Doctor. Like Missy and the 12th Doctor are very much like that, you know, and Sim and Tennant. I mean, I know Sim came back with Capaldi, but he is very much a sort of RTD Master, really. 10th Doctor era Master. And yeah, again with Sash Dhawan, you know, he's a Whittaker era Master, so it'd be really interesting to shake that up a bit. and have them in an anniversary special. Unpopular opinion, I really disliked the Mystery Redemption arc, says Universal Archive. Well. No, that's totally fair enough. Totally fair. I mean, do elaborate if you want to on why that was. I mean, I can see. I mean, obviously, I don't want to put words into your mouth or anything, but I can sort of see why it wouldn't appeal to people in the sense that the Master is ultimately meant to be a villain, and like dwelling on the whole idea of them being good too much sort of detracts from that. I mean, you certainly get a very different type of Master stories in the Capaldi era. You don't get... Well, to be fair, like first of all, with the Series 8 finale, you do get a sort of Master Invasion of Earth story. But then you don't get that again in the Capaldi era with Missy. She very much plays a different role in those stories, and so you don't get a villainous side to the Master. It's more of a sort of misunderstood maniac, I suppose, or whatever, take on the Master. And then, of course, with Sacha Dhawan, you return to that more villainous Master who revels in chaos and stuff. So if that's where you're coming from, then yeah, I can sort of see that. There are a lot of images here of John Barrowman, which perhaps isn't the best thing. Yeah, the sticker album for this one, it has a 4-page spread. So you have that first spread there, with lots of images of the stuff with Martha in the quarry with what's his name, Gary from Miranda, and then a few bits of Lucy, and then quite a bit of the Master and the Doctor on their like mountaintop cliff face battle thing, whatever, and some stuff back in Cardiff. So how much of that is represented here? I mean, a lot of the publicly released images here are just of John Barron, really, aren't they? Oh, it's interesting because none of those actually made it into the sticker album. None of those. Yeah, no, quite a few of those actually aren't here, are they? Like all the ones of the Master on the mountaintop, and of the Doctor and Martha and Jack back in Cardiff. None of those are represented here. I mean, the BBC must be sitting on so many images from Doctor Who just across the years that have never been officially released. And it would be so great one day. Like, I know how they do with the collection sets, to do like HD image galleries for every story. It would be super if we could get that for New Who eventually as well. Just like as many images as you can possibly have. All these images that we've seen elsewhere in magazines and books and stuff. Give us the originals. Give us the HD versions. That'd be fantastic. But ladies and gents, that brings us to the end of Series 3. Crikey. If I should check as well, they presumably they don't have it on DVD Bash. They have any more stuff, do they? I doubt it, to be honest. No, it's still the same sort of stuff, isn't it? And of course, you've got the medium res page as well. So let's just finish off by going through some of these, I suppose. These medium res ones. As we wind down, and then the stream will be ending sort of in 5 to 10 minutes, I suppose. We've still got 17 people watching, apparently. If you haven't liked yet, please do leave a like. That'd be fantastic if you've been enjoying this. You hit the nail on the head there. Oh, fantastic. I'm glad that I sort of got the right end of the stick. Oh, hey, JW Newell. Sorry I couldn't make it earlier. We've had a load of Series 3 nostalgia in this. A load. So yeah, do go and watch that back if you can. Yeah. So yeah, all these suggestions in the chat would be great to see all these things come to fruition, all these combinations. So keep it coming. Il Squeak, have we had an answer yet to the Croton's family of blood question? I don't believe we have. 2 million like head. I think it's been long enough. If you would like to, if you would like to put us out of our misery, that'd be very nice. At some time before the end of the stream. And we'll just look at these final few bits and pieces. So obviously these are like the original photo shoots, aren't they, for the images that we've seen right at the start of the stream, but photoshopped onto different backgrounds. Rad number 1 says, I don't use the like button. It'd be nice if you could make an exception for me. That'd be nice. That is an image that was on so much stuff back in the day. That is a super image. I'm going to save that one. Yeah, it's a shame that's not available in HD, to be honest. It's a shame. And that as well. That's quite fun, isn't it? That's quite fun. Good Martha sort of falling over. Of course, that one of Tennant as well. Yeah, that's quite a familiar one. Tennant. When you look at the Time Crash, Voyage of the Damned, and Series 4 and special stuff, there are lots of images. That'll be fantastic. Well, hopefully, if all goes to plan, we'll continue this time next week looking at Series 4, which would be really great because, as I said before, it's my first season. Very, very nostalgic time, Of course, that one of the June, yeah, I've seen that a couple of times before. Oh, the Carrie Knight shot there. In fact, it's weird that we never got any images of Lilith. We never saw any images of Lilith, just the other two. Well, that's interesting that this is only in low res because all the other wallpaper ones are in high res, weren't they? So I wonder if it's out there somewhere. Gridlock there. Another Gridlock one, yeah. Sort of variant of the artwork there. Oh yeah, that's just like a screen cap, isn't it, that one? Yeah, they're all screen caps. I won't do those, but I mean I think that's the image I'm going to use tonight when I end the stream. I'm going to keep that open. Hold on, open a new tab. Yeah, that's the image I'm going to use right at the end of the stream. When I sign off, I'm going to leave you with that. So let's keep a bookmark on that. Oh yes, that's the Radio Times image, isn't it, of Daleks Hybrid. And of course that one as well, yeah. Oh, a lovely behind the scenes one here. Oh yeah, got some chat about Lee Binding. Yeah, he's done some, as you say, Blocks of Flux. He's done some recreations of some of his earlier artwork, hasn't he, on his Instagram? Yeah. Yeah, these are cool, aren't they? I'd love to have high-res versions of these. Tennant there. Dr. Master says, what do you think the Family of Blood 2-part will be like if it was 13 instead? What would she be doing? Where would she be, etc.? I think someone asked me this before, actually. It rings a bell about 6 months ago, and I said she'd be like a school teacher, like an art teacher or something, in a kid's school throwing paint everywhere. I think she'd enjoy that. Yeah, I can just imagine that, really. I can just imagine her being totally mad. Lieutenant. Scarecrow on there. Martha again. That's a screen cap, isn't it? That one. An angel one. Oh, another one of those. Yeah, that's quite similar to one we saw, wasn't it? Team. A mastery one. Very nice. Yeah. Cool. Ooh, that's nice. That's a very nice one there. It's a shame that's not available in IRAs. That is a very bizarre one. Very, very bizarre. Tenant with his bow tie undone. Daleks hybrid again. Lots of images of this guy, and another one there where he's sort of like just vibing, really. So I think that brings us to a close, really, doesn't it? We've been going for, this is my longest stream ever. It's been nearly 3 hours, which is mad. So let's bring it to a close there. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Last ditch attempt, you know, please like if you haven't already. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Patreon, super chats, all that sort of stuff if it floats your boat. But no obligation, of course. No, it's just great to have you guys here, you know. And great to have familiar faces as well, you know, cropping up in the chat. We love to see it. So that draws us to a close for this week's stream. We should be back next week, all being well, I guess, with Series 4. All of the previous streams are available on the channel. I mean, let's just briefly do that. Here we go. Just read the page. Yeah. You can catch up with anything you've missed, including any other videos as well, on the channel, if you like. So yeah, really, and yeah, I'll try and announce the next one in advance, like I did for this one, and we'll cover some Series 4 stuff, and it'll be good fun. Yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff to cover there, because there's Voyage of the Damned as well, of course, isn't there? And Time Crash. We need to look at Torchwood Series 1 as well at some points. So yeah, that's all stuff to look forward to in the pipeline. But otherwise, yeah. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I'll leave you with this image of Daleks hybrid, just for a minute or two. As we end the stream, and yeah, goodbye, Blocks of Flux, goodbye, JW Newell, goodbye, Red Number 1, Dr. Master, Human Espresso Extra, El Squeak, Hooniverse Archive. It's been a blast, Hooniverse Archive. Thank you for all your work on Black Archive. It's fantastic. Dr. Master, everybody, yeah. Cool. So, without further ado, God. Oh, Google Black's Facts. You missed it. Oh, damn it. Oh well. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna go now. Thank you for watching. Thanks a billion, and bye bye.